is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Well, we're in the grips of some pretty oppressive heat statewide. If you stepped outside today, you know what I'm talking about. Today, Megan Hoffman hit the streets for a hot take on how to stay cool.
While the high temperatures might not be enjoyable for some, one local lifeguard says the hot days are the most fun.
It's tougher than when it's cooler weather for sure, but it's a little more fun because we get a little more action at the pool, more people here, just kind of more going on.
Sunscreen, water, hats, and shade are encouraged, not just for those playing in the water, but those on the sidelines as well. Once the weather moves into the 90s, staff make adjustments to make sure everyone is staying safe.
We do have rest periods throughout where we give the patrons a chance to rest. And then, a lot of people think it's just for our lifeguards, but no, it's for the safety of the people that are coming into the pools and swim.
And sometimes our rotations will have one guard in the water. We try to keep the water a little cooler, especially during these hot weeks and stuff. So
the Wachter pool will be closing for the season after regular hours on Friday, but both Hillside and the Elks pools will be open this weekend. Wald says once fall activities start and schools start getting back in session, it's hard to keep enough lifeguards. For West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Megan Hoffman.
Over the weekend, you may have more to worry about than just the heat. Smoke from the wildfires in California are hanging over the area, and it's expected to linger. If you have an underlying lung condition like emphysema, asthma, or COPD, you are more likely to develop complications from the smoke in the air. One doctor says he's seeing more patients with throat irritation or coughing. He says if you have trouble breathing, see a doctor right away. The best thing to do is to try and stay indoors.
Number one, limit the time outdoors. And number two, if you have to go outdoors and you have a sensitivity to smoke, wear a mask. But try to limit your time outside.
Tello says wearing a mask that covers your nose and mouth is best if you do have to spend time outdoors. More on that now, meteorologist Henry Blakes. Earlier this week, the family of Olivia Lone Bear bid farewell to their daughter and sister. Today, hundreds of supporters of Lone Bear and other missing and murdered Indigenous women marched in a show of solidarity. Molly Hurley was there.
Walking for awareness, walking for Olivia Lone Bear,
they fight for our rights.
Walking for all missing and murdered Indigenous women across the country.
It's because I do have two daughters and I know how easy it is for somebody to just come and nab them up.
Hundreds crossed the Four Bears Bridge days after Olivia's body was found in Lake Sakakawea.
There's still a pending investigation for Olivia, so not everything, we're not out of the water just yet with it.
The MHA Nation rallying together in hopes that what happened to Olivia doesn't happen to anyone else.
If this ever happened to my girls, I don't know what I'd do, it's just crazy. It could happen to anybody though.
Scary thought, a really scary thought.
Showing strength in numbers for a better future for Indigenous women. In Minot for West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Molly Hurley.
A West Fargo woman accused of drowning her newborn child in a bathtub has pleaded not guilty to murder. 36-year-old Ginny Lubitz is accused of placing her baby face down in about an inch of water on May 5th, killing the child. She's been held on $500,000 bail. She'll be back in court in October. Well, there was another dog attack in the area yesterday, but this one had a much different outcome. Police say two men were walking a dog in the 1600 block of Pocatello Drive yesterday morning when another dog crawled under its fence and attacked. As one of the men tried to separate the two dogs, the dog that got loose bit him. Police say the other man took out a pocket knife and stabbed the attacking dog to death. Well, a major drug bust in South Dakota. A traffic stop in South Dakota yielded 88 pounds of cocaine with a street value of more than $1 million. Prosecutors say Highway Patrol troopers stopped a vehicle for a traffic violation on Highway 85 near Spearfish last week and found two suitcases in the trunk loaded with drugs. They say the two Canadian women were taking the drugs from California to Fargo. Also on the crime front, car break-ins can sometimes be preventable. In the last year, Bismarck reported more than 200 of them. This summer alone, they've already had 85. The Bismarck Police Department says in recent weeks, they've seen a rise in the south side of Bismarck by the mall and Washington courts. Daniela Hurtado has tips from the police on how you can take precaution.
The Bismarck Police Department says a big chunk of the break-ins are from cars that are unlocked.
just common sense stuff they can do, you know, to prevent it.
Police call this a crime of opportunity.
Some of these crimes have increased, so we'd really like people to take that extra proactive step.
Police recommend that you take your valuables with you, but they say if you do happen to leave them inside your car, to leave them out of sight in a place like a glove compartment, under the chair, or they say you could even put it in your trunk. But they say the most important part is locking your door.
SAS says this is something people could help prevent. For West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Daniela Hurtado.
Incumbent Secretary of State Al Jaeger submitted petitions today to get his name on the November ballot for re-election. He says they contain more than 1,300 signatures. Jaeger lost the Republican nomination to Will Gardner, who has since dropped out of the race. Since then, the GOP has given Jaeger a letter of support. But because his name was not on the primary ballot, Jaeger has to run as an independent. Well, Secretary of State is just one of dozens of issues voters will need to decide come November. To help you make up your mind, our sister station, KFYR, will televise a U.S. House candidate debate between Democrat Max Schneider and Republican Kelly Armstrong. It will happen 1 week from today, August 16th at 6:30 p.m. at the Ramkota Hotel as a part of the Greater North Dakota Chamber of Commerce Business Summit. Marcy Bollinger and I will be moderating. Governor Burgum has appointed Bismarck attorney and former Solicitor General Doug Baer to judgeship in the South Central Judicial District. Baer will fill the post vacated by retired Judge Sana Anderson on September 1st. He was an assistant attorney general and later director of the Civil Litigation Division. On the energy front, owners of the Roosevelt gas plant in McKenzie County have plans to expand the plant's capacity. Kinder Morgan says it filed applications with the Public Service Commission to process an additional 150 million cubic feet per day. More capacity means less natural gas flaring. Operations could begin by November 2019, pending regulatory approval. And the company planning to build an oil refinery near Theodore Roosevelt National Park is asking the PSC to dismiss a complaint filed by environmental groups. The Environmental Law and Policy Center and the Dakota Resource Council say Meridian needs a permit for the site. That's because the refinery's capacity will be 55,000 barrels per day, which is above the threshold that triggers a PCS review. But Meridian says that's an outdated number. They say they plan to build a facility processing fewer than 28,000 barrels daily, with room for expansion of up to 49,500 barrels. The company still needs to obtain a few more permits. Switching gears now, a golden anniversary is cause for celebration. Diane Freed's career in nursing began at Minot Hospital and has led to a lifetime of fulfillment. Jack Springate has the celebration 5 decades in the making.
That's beautiful.
As a child, Diane Freed dreamed of one day becoming a nurse.
I'm doing something that I love to do. Yeah. And that keeps me going.
Now she's celebrating 50 years of service to her hometown, including time at St. Joseph's Hospital, the Job Corps, and now Northland Community Health Center.
Nursing is my life, it's my love, and it's wonderful to be able to do something I love in a community that I love.
This isn't the only such milestone for Freed. She celebrated 50 years of marriage to her husband, Andy, last summer.
Hard to believe. It just seems like yesterday that we got married.
Outside of a brief stint working at a hospital in the northern suburbs of Chicago, the Freeds have always called North Dakota home.
As a nurse, I know that she's passionate about her job.
Yeah.
And she loves her job here.
A passion that brought her out of retirement in 2016.
I just wanted to be involved in nursing a little bit longer, so I had this opportunity to come to Northland to work part-time, and it's an absolute perfect balance in my life.
And back to the job she loves.
There you go.
Excellent.
In Minot for West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Jack Springate.
A few weeks ago, we told you that NBC's Dateline was up in Minot filming an upcoming episode. The show will feature the investigation into the murder of Angela Wilder and the 2 people serving life sentences for her death, her ex-husband Richie and his current wife Cynthia. The episode will air Monday, August 13th at 9 p.m. on KFYR TV. It will feature an interview with a confidential informant who helped investigators with the case.
I'd like to be a confidential informant.
During the time, it was kind of cool. It was kind of like what you see on TV. You know, we were meeting at a secret hotel, and 2 of the detectives there that were wiring up my car, they didn't even know what the case was, or there was only like 3 or 4 people in Minot that knew what I was doing, why I was there. And you know, you have these detectives following you and you're trying to secretly communicate with them.
We'll have more samples on what the informant had to say to Dateline tomorrow. Violence erupts in Argentina after a historic abortion law is rejected. Protesters and riot police clashed on the streets of Buenos Aires Thursday night. Police officers used tear gas to push back the crowds, who also started small fires. The demonstration came after lawmakers rejected a bill to legalize effective abortion in the first 14 weeks of pregnancy. Argentina now allows the procedure only in cases of rape or risk to the woman's health. Firefighters making headway on one of California's major wildfires, while another continues to grow. Crews across the state are getting little help from the blazes. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez has the story.
The Holy Fire continues its tear through Southern California's Cleveland National Forest, charring more than 6,000 acres.
Information I received that it's mandatory evacuation.
Mandatory evacuations were put in place Wednesday as the fire inched closer to residential communities in Lake Elsinore. Crews covering affected neighborhoods with fire retardant to try to prevent the homes from igniting.
Scariest thing I ever seen, you know, in my life. Been experienced a lot of things, but this is one of the craziest things. You never think it's gonna happen like this to you.
Wednesday, police arrested 51-year-old Forrest Gordon Clark. Clark is accused of starting the Holy Fire. He was taken into custody at his home near the spot where the fire started.
Evil. I just don't see how someone could do something like that, jeopardize lives, jeopardize animals.
Meanwhile, it was a good day for firefighters fighting the Mendocino Complex fire, as they made good progress on the state's largest fire in history for the first time. The 14,000 firefighters across the state are getting help from some unlikely sources.
There's about 40 New Zealanders and about another 120 Australians here. We've come out here to A, assist as much as we can, but B, to learn a bit from, you know, the scale of what you do here is amazing.
200 soldiers and firefighters from 17 states also joining the firefight.
The Holy Fire, as it was just mentioned, crews say it grew substantially overnight. The rough, acclivitous terrain is proving to be a huge challenge, that coupled with changing canyon winds. The blaze is only about 5% contained. The man arrested on suspicion of starting that fire could face life in prison. And it's not just people and property suffering from these fires. Wildlife is getting caught in the crossfire as well. This bear cub was discovered by an electronic company employee in Whiskeytown, lying in ash due to her burnt paws. He immediately contacted Lake Tahoe wildfire officials, where veterinarians came to the scene, sedated the bear, and took her in for treatment. From fire to flooding. Heavy monsoon rains killing at least 22 people in southern India this week. The monsoon season, which lasts roughly from June to September, has taken the lives of 175 people in the southern coastal state and damaged crops worth $49.8 million. The nationwide monsoon death toll for the year is now well over 700. Forecasters are predicting more heavy rains in the region for another 2 days. From monsoons to a heat wave, here over to Henry. The 5 adults arrested during the raid on a ramshackle New Mexico compound made their first court appearances today. And court documents reveal shocking details about what went on inside. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has the story.
As authorities wait to learn the identity of human remains found on the property of a New Mexico compound, just filed court documents allege the makeshift compound was linked to extreme Muslims. And 39-year-old Siraj Wahaj was conducting weapons training for the children found on the grounds, teaching them to commit school shootings. Authorities raided the makeshift compound last week during their search for Abdul Ghani Wahaj, a missing child from Georgia. On the property, they found the elder Wahaj, the boy's father, but not the young child. At the time, he was heavily armed and a shooting range was found on the property. 4 other adults were also arrested in the raid. All 5 have been charged with 11 counts of felony child abuse.
3 females who we believe are the mothers of the children. The 2 males, as the sheriff indicated earlier, one being the father of the child that was reported missing.
Each of the defendants appeared before a judge Wednesday.
To enter a plea of not guilty if no plea is entered.
Wahaj is facing one additional charge for the alleged abduction of his son. On Monday, authorities returned to the property and found the remains of a child, which have not yet been identified. A local newspaper reporting at least one of the children told investigators Abdul was at the compound and died there. There are reports Wahaj's father is a prominent Muslim cleric in New York who was named as an unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. In Washington, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
A team of divers just found an ancient Roman shipwreck 300 feet below the surface off the Crimean coast. So far, the Discovery team has learned that the wooden Roman vessel dates back to the 2nd or 3rd century. It's too early to officially confirm the origin of the ship, but there is speculation about what kind of ship it is. Because of the iron anchor, they believe it belonged to Roman merchants. Okay, over now to Henry. Henry, it's cool right now. Don't be fooled.
Yeah, it feels all right now. We're still in the 80s. Overnight, it's going to feel fine until we get up in the morning and go about our daily activities. But we are talking about waking up to 60s. And then, yeah, 90s and triple digits possible for the Northwest into Montana for Friday. And then more widespread triple digits over the weekend.
Henry,
just wait.
That Dickinson sunset you showed tonight did not look like a sunset. It looked like a laser pointer through a bunch of haze.
It kind of did, but those are some of the best sunset pictures we get.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.